What's happening around the world?
And what's happening here at home? A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News coming to 11 direct from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. For the Newsfirst team, I am Rochelle Kumodra.
And I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
President updates Parliament on agreements with the IMF. A host of relief to the general public. Tax-free threshold of the payee tax increased from 100,000 to 150,000 rupees. Importation of private vehicles to be allowed from February 2025. 6,000 rupee monthly allowance for children of low-income families. Opposition leader presents academic certificates in Parliament.
2 A's, 2 B's, 3 C's, Oxford and Cambridge Schools Examination Board, Associate Examination Board කියන boards දෙකෙන් මේ ලබාගත්තු O level විභාග ප්‍රතිඵල.
MP Namal poses another challenge to the government.
Starting off with news here at home, President Anurakumara Dissanayake assured Parliament today that a crisis similar to that of 2022 to 2023 will not occur again in the country. He said that by 2028, he aims to increase the country's foreign reserves to $15.1 billion.
The president, who returned to the country last night after completing his visit to India, attended Parliament this morning and informed about agreements reached with the International Monetary Fund.
We have planned to systematically reopen the country's vehicle import market. Our plan involves reopening the market in 3 phases. The proposal includes that the importation of vehicles for the transportation of goods and private use vehicles will commence from the 1st of February 2025. We assure the public there is no reason to fear another dollar crisis. We firmly believe that reopening the vehicle import market is crucial to revitalizing the economy and achieving economic growth. Therefore, we are taking a firm stance in our efforts to reopen the vehicle import market.
Relief on payee tax.
Professionals in our country were deeply concerned about the payee tax which was imposed. We resumed negotiations and were able to raise the tax-free limit from 100,000 rupees to 150,000 rupees. Additionally, we succeeded in making amendments that will increase the first category of personal income tax from 500,000 rupees to 1 million rupees, which will now be subject to a 6% tax rate. Tax-free threshold increased from 100,000 to 150,000. Monthly salaries up to 150,000 rupees are exempt from the payee tax. Those earning a monthly salary of 200,000 are exempt from 71% of the tax. A person earning a monthly salary of 250,000 rupees is exempt from 61% of the tax. A person earning a monthly salary of 300,000 rupees is exempt from 47% of the tax. Someone who earns a monthly salary of 350,000 rupees is exempt from 25.5% of the tax. We have successfully revised the payee tax system to reduce concessions for high-income individuals while increasing concessions for those with lower income.
Suspension of Parate law further extended. Grace period granted for debt restructuring.
අපි තීරණයක් ගත්තා මේ දෙසැම්බර් මාසේ 15 වෙනිදා අහෝස් වෙන්න තිබුණු දේ 2025 මාර්තු මාසේ 31 වෙනිදා දක්වා මාස 3මාරකට ආසන්න කාලෙකින්.
Our study revealed that 99% of creditors were defaulters with loans under 25 million rupees. The suspension of the Parate law has been extended until the 31st of March 2025. Banks must complete debt restructuring discussions with creditors by the deadline of December 31st. Creditors with outstanding interest and loan amounts between 25 million rupees and 50 million rupees can also negotiate with banks for debt restructuring. Those with loan amounts exceeding 50 million rupees, excluding outstanding interest, have the option to extend the restructuring period until June 2025 with the opportunity to initiate restructuring before that date.
Local yogurt and dairy products to be exempt from VAT. Measures are being introduced to reduce the 30% tax imposed on service exports to 15%. Measures to increase the withholding tax from 5% to 10%.
අපේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් වැඩිහිටිය අය විශ්‍රාමිකයන් යම් මුදල් ප්‍රමාණයක් තැන්පත් කළේ පොලියෙන් ජීවත් වෙනවා. ඒතර සාමාන්‍ය මාසෙකට ලක්ෂ එකමාරක් පොලියට
Senior citizens and pensioners often deposit money and live off the interest. Generally, if the monthly interest exceeds 150,000 rupees, it will be subject to tax. However, if any citizen believes they are exempt from this tax, they can visit the Inland Revenue Department, present their tax status and have their tax exemption clarified. A dedicated unit will be set up within the IRD to assist in this process and clarify their tax situation. This initiative is expected to provide relief to pensioners and those earning income from withholding tax. It aims to ensure no one is unfairly taxed while expanding the tax base and enhancing the tax mechanism.
නමුත් අපි අපේක්ෂා කරනවා අපේ බදු දැල සඳහා මේ බදු යාන්ත්‍රණය පුළුල් කිරීමේ අපේක්ෂාව පමණයි මෙතන තිබෙන්නේ.
A monthly allowance of rupees 6,000 to be provided to underprivileged school children. Steps to expand the Aswasum allowance to include deserving children currently ineligible. Steps to amend the Aswasuma Act and expand relief.
මේ අස්වැසුම ව්‍යාපෘතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනකොට කාණ්ඩ 4කට ක්‍රියාත්මක වුණේ. ඒ කාණ්ඩ 4න් කාණ්ඩ 2ක්.
Aswasuma was initially planned to be distributed in 4 categories. Of those, 800,000 beneficiaries were scheduled to be dropped out of the scheme in December. However, the benefits for the 2 lowest categories have been extended until March, while the benefits for the other category has been extended until December 2025. There has been some division in the villages between those who are receiving Aswasuma and those who are not. As a result, the situation has been reviewed. Information obtained through the system will be rechecked, and any individuals who should have received assistance but have not will be investigated and provided the Aswasuma relief.
නැවත තෝරාගෙන අපි එළඹෙන අප්‍රේල් මාසයේ ඉඳන් ඒ අයට අස්වැසුම ලබා දෙන්න අපි කටයුතු කරනවා. අප මෙම යෝජනා ටික ඉක්මනින්ම ගැසට් කරලා
We intend to gazette these proposals promptly and submit them to Parliament in January. This includes an amendment to the VAT Act and several amendments to the Aswasuma Act. I sincerely thank you and trust that you will extend your support to these amendments.
President Anurukumara Dissanayake returned to Sri Lanka last night after concluding his 3-day official visit to India. The president arrived at Bandaranayake International Airport in Katunayake aboard a Sri Lankan Airlines flight. Upon arrival, the president interacted with the public at the passenger terminal, engaging in a cordial conversation.
The government responded in Parliament today to concerns raised by the opposition regarding the president's recent visit to India.
All the agreements signed and endorsed by President Ranil Wickremesinghe have been rubber stamped by your side. I would like to ask, previously you raised concerns about the ETCA and other matters related to India. Are you now willing to retract those statements and clarify your position on these issues? That is my first question.
රබර් සීල් ගහලාවා කිව්වා රබර් සීල් ගැහුවේ නැහැ ඔබතුමන්ලා ඒ පහුගිය කාලෙදී ගත්තු සමහර ණය පවා ප්‍රධානයන් බවට
They talk about a rubber stamp, but that is not the case. Some of the loans you took in the past have now become top priorities. The claim that it was just a rubber stamp is false. We have strengthened our international relations and are moving forward with a plan. In the past, deals were made under specific circumstances. Now, however, we have a clear and strong direction. There were attempts to corner the country and its people in ways that could harm our national identity. Instead, the president intervened with genuine interest to implement the people's mandate and secure the country's progress. This is why some investors are now choosing to invest in Sri Lanka. We are hopeful that these discussions will continue to be transparent and lead us forward.
තවදුරටත් තීරව් කරගෙන ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්නට අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
අනුර කුමාරසාන මැතිතුමා මේට කලින් කිව්වේ අපේ බලශක්තිය
Anurukumara Dissanayake suggested that our energy should be linked with India, our airspace connected, and the Sri Lankan rupee aligned with the Indian rupee. He raised the question of who gave Ranil Wickremesinghe the mandate. Now I asked, based on his statements, did Anurukumara Dissanayake receive a mandate, or did Ranil Wickremesinghe's agenda with India receive a mandate?
යනවරක් ලැබුණාද කියලා මම අහනවා.
මං හිතන්නේ මේ මෙතුමා කියවලා නැතුව ඇති ඊයේ මාධ්‍යයට නිකුත් කර
I believe you may not have read the joint statement released to the media yesterday. Instead of asking speculative questions, it would be more productive to address areas where we are focused and progressing based on the data provided.
අපි සූදානම් වෙන්නේ කියන එක.
මම සන්තෝෂ වෙනවා නලින් බණ්ඩාර මන්ත්‍රීතුමා මේ බලශක්තිය පිළිබඳ ප්‍රශ්න කිරීම ගැන ඉතා පැහැදිලිව අනුර කුමාර දිසාන
I commend Nalin Bandara for raising such an important question about our nation's energy needs. Anura Kumara Dissanayake has clearly received the people's mandate, unlike Ranil Wickremesinghe. As we have consistently said, Sri Lanka has the potential not only to meet its domestic energy needs, but also to become a net exporter of energy within the BIMSTEC region. This would significantly enhance our nation's economy and international standing. We can leverage this advantage by generating energy and exporting the surplus to the BIMSTEC region, boosting our national income. No agreements of the kind you have mentioned have been signed with India. The joint statement clearly outlines our commitment to continuing discussions on various energy projects. Contrary to your claims, no agreements that compromise our national interests have been finalized.
එහෙම නැතුව ඔබ කියන ආකාරයට රට පාවා දෙන කිසිදු ගිවිසුමක් අපි අත්සන් කරලා නැහැ.
Newsfirst with the people.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa provided a clarification about his academic qualifications in Parliament today. He made this clarification as a response to the points raised by Minister Nalinda Jayatissa in Parliament yesterday.
Kindergarten ආරම්භ කරේ St. Bridget's Convent එකේ grade 1 to 5 මම හිටියේ Santa Thomas ප්‍රාථමික විද්‍යාලයේ.
I would like to say that I began my preschool at St. Bridget's Convent. I was at St. Thomas's Preparatory School from grade 1 to 5 and Royal College from grade 6 to 9. I studied at Royal College. Honestly, I did not face my ordinary levels in Sri Lanka. I would like to present the pupils' record sheet and the school record of my college. I served as a junior student leader for a period of time. I was part of the under-13 cricket team as well. There are other educational activities in that subject area. I now present the certificates regarding all of that. I then pursued my education at Mill Hill School. In the years 83 and 84, I sat for the ordinary level examination and I sat for the Oxford and Cambridge Schools Examination Board ordinary level exams and passed with 2 A's, 2 B's and 3 C's. I received these certificates, the O-level certificate and the certificate for passing the O-level exam. Rumours were spread that I have no O-level results and that I had failed it. There was no grading of W those days and only A, B and C's in London examinations. At this moment, I would like to clearly mention that I have 2 A's, 2 B's and 3 C's for the Oxford and Cambridge Schools Examination Board ordinary level exams. So, I feel sorry for the lie which claims that I have failed my O-levels. I would like to mention that during my time at the Mill Hill School in 1984, I was the house captain. In 1985, I was a prefect. I played for the first 11 cricket team in 1983, 84, 85 and 86. In 1985, I was the secretary of the cricket team. In 1986, I was the team captain, and in 86, I was in upper 6, which is A-levels. In my final year, I was given the school prize for 2 out of the 3 subjects that I followed: political science and business studies. I was able to win prizes for both subjects from Mill Hill School. My A-level results are 2 B's and 1 C. C for economics, B for business studies and another B for politics and government. With those results, I pursued a degree at the London School of Economics and Political Science, which is an affiliated institution of the University of London. In 1991, I completed my degree. I would like to specially mention that this is a letter written by the London School of Economics and Political Science. This is a letter written by the director. This is the degree certificate. I must mention that I did my master's at the University of Maryland College Park in the United States between 1991 and 1992. I faced 8 subjects during those 2 years. I obtained 6 A's and 2 B's for those subjects. I present to you those transcripts as well. I had around 1.5 or 2 years to complete my master's, but with the passing of my father, I decided to return to the country and engage in politics. While I was pursuing my master's in America, I worked as an intern under a member of the Senate, which is called a volunteer internship. This is a letter sent to me by him to confirm it, in case anyone doubts that. In 2021 and 2022, I entered the open Open University of Sri Lanka to pursue an MSc in Environmental Science. That is a master's program, which was the second master's program I entered. I was very capable of completing the 10 units needed for the master's. I studied part-time while being the leader of the opposition. I attended several classes of the Prime Minister as well. You are a very good lecturer. I safeguarded all of this as a state secret until now. It became increasingly difficult to continue studies in 2022. I believe there were many questions circulating on social media. I did not care about those, but I felt as though it was my duty to mention all this after Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa brought these matters up, and especially in Parliament. I take full responsibility for everything I just said. I am ready to quit politics and to resign from my leadership role as the leader of the opposition and as an MP if anything I have said is a lie. Never have I ever included a fake qualification on the Parliament website, not even on a resume, and I do not expect to do it either. You can all inquire about these from the relevant institutions regarding the information I have provided.
Although it has been presented, it hasn't been tabled yet. We have the right to know. So, we request you to table these certificates. After it is tabled, we will know if it is real or fake. It is not enough to only table it. We need to verify the authenticity of the certificates from the relevant universities. So give us a copy of it. It could even be photoshopped. National Organizer of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Nama Rajapaksa, clarified matters regarding his legal education in Parliament today.
If there are complaints regarding examination irregularities, these too must be probed. Furthermore, a person who has sought political asylum abroad has made accusations. As President, you have the authority to invite this individual to return and provide testimony in court. If necessary, provide them with adequate security, just as you would for any other witness. If necessary, they can be taken to court under the protection of the SDF, just as the leaders of the underworld are handled. If you claim that it is no longer necessary, then he does not have to remain in the country as a political refugee. Honorable Speaker, they can come to Sri Lanka to address this matter. I am clearly requesting that these issues be removed from the Hansard. When certain political parties have a history of spreading falsehoods, a statement made by one individual can tarnish the character of another.
තවත් පුද්ගලයෙක්ගේ චරිත ඝාතනය කරන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා. එතකොට මම කියලා මොන්නම් කියන්න දුන්නා. මම කිව්වා මම තමයි නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ මන්ත්‍රීවරයා නීති විද්‍යාලයේ විභාගය ලියපු හැටි පිළිබඳව මට තොරතුරු ලබා දීපු තොරතුරු මා ළඟ තියෙනවා.
He should have said it was me. I am the one who mentioned that I have the information provided to me by regarding how MP Namal Rajapaksa sat for the Law College exam. He also stated that he would return to Sri Lanka to begin the investigations related to these matters. That is why the entire country knows that when Namal Rajapaksa was about to sit for his final year exam at the Law College in 2010, the principal arranged for the exam to be held in a single room exclusively for him. Everyone is aware that you took the exam alone in the computer room at the Law College. How was this arrangement made specifically for you by the principal? Tushara Jayaratna, who also sat for his final exam that same year, has raised this complaint. He spoke to me about it yesterday following the parliamentary session. Several complaints have been filed by him regarding this issue and an investigation has been initiated. These complaints were lodged before the respective authorities. You will need to explain how you were allowed to sit in the room alone during the Law College exams.
ඒ පැමිණිලි අදාළව පරීක්ෂණ ඉස්සරහට සිදු වෙයි. ඒතකොට ඔබතුමාට ගිහිලා නීති විද්‍යාලයේ විභාග ලිව්වේ කොහොමද? තනියෙන් කාමරේ විභාග ලිව්වේ කොහොමද කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි. මම ඔබතුමාට වක්කීමකින් කියනවා මම තනියම
I am stating this with full responsibility. Prove that I wrote the exams alone in an air-conditioned room. If you can prove it, I will leave Parliament. Otherwise, you should resign from your ministerial position.
ඔප්පු කරොත් මම පාර්ලිමේන්තුවෙන් අයින් වෙනවා. නැත්නම් ඔබතුමා ඇමතිකමෙන් අයින් වෙන්න ඕනේ. මෙතුමා තනියම නෙවෙයි නම් මෙතුමාට
If he was not alone, perhaps there was someone else who wrote the exam paper for him. It should be considered that way, especially since he scored 99 marks.
එතුමාට මම දැන් කිව්වනේ.
Honorable Speaker, he has just stated that I wrote the exam alone in the exam room. If it is proven, I will resign. Otherwise, he should resign.
ඔබතුමා අයින් වෙන්න. එතුමා අද කියනවා තනියම නෙමෙයි හිටියේ කියලා.
He claims today that he was not alone. Very well. The Hansard records state that he was not alone. Now he must come forward and clarify who the other person who was present with him during the exam.
එතුමාට කියන්න ඕනේ පරීක්ෂණයට ඇවිල්ලා.
Addressing Parliament today, Member of Parliament Ajit P. Pereira responded to criticism levelled by Minister of Justice Harshana Nanakara yesterday regarding his use of the title counsel.
In this country, there are two recognized categories of legal professionals, instructing attorney and counsel. I am a popular counsel frequently involved in high-profile civil cases. Therefore, my professional role is that of a counsel.
I am aware that he is involved in litigation. However, if you claim to be a counsel, it is essential that you present the relevant certification to this honourable chamber. This is the challenge I put forward to you. I urge Ajit Pereira not to make such claims without providing necessary proof.
I have clearly explained to this individual in Sinhala, according to the 2023 Act number 26, the legal profession in Sri Lanka recognizes two categories of attorneys, instructing attorneys and counsel. The term counsel specifically refers to that. Minister Harshana Nanakara had posted this on Facebook. However, what he is implying is that he is a counsel and is asking for votes based on that claim.
The post mentions that I worked as a state counsel. You can read Sinhala, can't you? If you can read it, go ahead and read it. It says that I worked as a state counsel. I do not have it before my name now. That's why I chose not to engage in these false, disparaging statements. I prefer to remain silent as I do not wish to give value to such people.
He claims that the title of counsel is only valid in England, not Sri Lanka. Honourable Speaker, it is shameful that the allegations regarding his academic qualifications have been exposed, and these have been shared not only with Parliament but also on the website and Facebook page.
Welcome back to the news. The all-share price index of the Colombo Stock Exchange recorded an all-time high once again today.
The Newsfirst Finance Report.
The all-share price index or ASPI of the Colombo Stock Exchange recorded an all-time high closing at 14,614.30. According to the CSE, the ASPI increased by 97.84 points, surpassing yesterday's record. The S&P SL20 was recorded at 4,404.13 points. The turnover of rupees 6 billion was recorded at the closing of trade today.
The Department of Census and Statistics Sri Lanka has released the estimated gross domestic product at current price and at constant price in production approach and the other macroeconomic indicators for the third quarter of 2024. The GDP for the third quarter of 2024 at constant price has increased up to 3.1 trillion from 2.9 trillion rupees, which recorded in the third quarter of 2023. The year-on-year GDP growth rate for the third quarter of the year 2024 has been reported as 5.5% of positive growth rate. The agricultural, industrial and services activities expanded by 3.0%, 10.8% and 2.6% respectively in the third quarter of 2024.
The Newsfirst Finance Report.
The Department of Examinations announced the dates for the 2024 GCE Ordinary Level Examination. The GCE Ordinary Level Examination has been scheduled to take place from the 17th of March to the 26th of March. Moving on to more local news, the air quality has deteriorated in many areas across Sri Lanka.
The National Building Research Organization said that the air quality in Jaffna is currently at an unfavorable level. Director of the National Building Research Organization, Sarat Premasiri, said that the northern, north central, northwestern and western provinces are experiencing relatively high levels of air quality deterioration. In urban areas, there is a level at which sensitive individuals may experience some discomfort. He further advised to seek medical attention if anyone experiences breathing difficulties.
Delhi's pollution has once again soared to hazardous levels, with a top expert warning that India's toxic air will have a bigger impact on public health than the COVID-19 pandemic.
Today, the air quality was 35 times in the Indian capital, New Delhi, over the safe limit set by the World Health Organization, leaving residents complaining of breathing problems as well as itching in their eyes and throat. Indian authorities have urged people, especially children and the elderly, to stay indoors as much as possible, while doctors recommend wearing a mask. But Frank Hammers, global chief executive of air technology company IQ Air, warns this is just a short-term measure and much more needs to be done. According to IQ Air, a Swiss air quality index, pollution in parts of Delhi surpassed the 550 mark this morning, far exceeding even the hazardous level of 300. The Delhi government reintroduced strict pollution control measures yesterday, less than 2 weeks after the country's top court allowed them to be eased. As per the curbs, which fall under Stage 4 of the Graded Response Action Plan, or GRAP, most schools in New Delhi have shifted to hybrid mode. All construction and demolition activities are banned, while the entry of lorries and heavy vehicles, except those carrying essential goods, has been prohibited.
On to more international news. Russia's security service says a 29-year-old man from Uzbekistan has been detained over the killing of the senior general Igor Kirillov and his assistant in Moscow.
Lieutenant General Igor Kirillov, the Nuclear, Biological, Chemical Defense Forces, was outside a residential block early yesterday when an explosive device hidden in a scooter was detonated remotely. The Russian security service said the suspect was recruited by Ukrainian intelligence. A Ukrainian source told foreign media yesterday that the killing was orchestrated by Ukraine's security service. The Ukrainian security source said Kirillov, who was Russia's chemical weapons chief, was a legitimate target and alleged he had carried out war crimes. Meanwhile, US President-elect Donald Trump's incoming Ukraine envoy will travel to Kiev and several other European capitals in early January as the next administration tries to bring a swift end to the Russia-Ukraine war. Retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, who is set to serve as Trump's special envoy for Ukraine and Russia, is not planning to visit Moscow during this trip. Instead, he will visit senior leaders in Kiev, and his team is working to set up meetings with leaders in other European capitals such as Rome and Paris.
A briefing was held today to announce details of the EVA All-Ireland Open Netball Tournament.
බස්නාහිර පළාත් නෙට්බෝල් සංගමය සංවිධානය කරන තරඟාවලිය පැවැත්වෙන්නේ ICL Brands අනුග්‍රහයෙන්.
As Sri Lanka's #1 feminine hygiene brand,
ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ අංක 1 සනීපාරක්ෂකතුවා සන්නාමය හැටියට අපේ දැක්ම තමයි හැම විටම විශ්වාසයෙන්, ශක්තියෙන්, අභිමානයෙන් ජීවත්
supporting netball, a sport that exemplifies teamwork, perseverance and resilience, perfectly aligns with the vision of the brand. This year's tournament,
මේ තරඟාවලිය ලබන ජනවාරි 11 වෙනිදා සහ 12 වෙනිදා කොළඹ ගුවන් හමුදා ක්‍රීඩාංගණයේදී පැවැත්වෙනවා.
මෙම තරඟාවලිය සඳහා දිවයින පුරා පැතිර සිටින राज्य बैंकु विश्वविद्यालय हा जातिक जात्यांतर पासल.
And with that, we wrap up news for tonight.
Thank you for watching. Good night.